Not great that today, was it? Not terrible, obviously. We didn't lose. It was 0-0, but not great. Summary of the game for me, I just think fair play to Charlton, to be honest. They were dogged, difficult to beat. Nathan Jones set them up to be difficult to beat, and that's exactly what they were. I thought first half, Emil Rees had a bit of joy in the channels. I've got my phone with some notes on it. But then they really locked that up. Jones and Bell, particularly Amari Bell, who they got from Luton over the summer. I thought he did a really good job defensively today. Yeah, you can blame the referee a little bit. I think he had some interesting calls in that game. There are a few handballs that he missed, amongst other things. But also, I think Charlton did the basics well, were difficult to beat. And towards the end of the game, there was a bit of time wasting going on, which as a home fan, like you never like to see. But ultimately, that's how you get a result in these games, right? They did those kind of dark arts really well. We got in the chat then, Football Addicts, come on you Reds. That was probably before the game. You're probably not saying that so much now, but I'm not getting too upset by it. Evening, Alan. Some good bits first half. Faded. Reese didn't get into the game really. I think the two centre-halves from Charlton did a good job on him. I'll tell you what, honestly, if we had another striker to play two up top, one you can really hang your hat on, to just occupy each of those centre-backs one-on-one, we might have had a bit more out of that game. Charlie Price still not happy with the ref. Yeah, ref could have been better, I suppose. Good afternoon as well, Oliver. So my plan, just as we do with all of these match reviews, really, we're going to go through the team. We'll talk about each of the players, their performance. We've got FOTMob open, so they've got all their respective match ratings there. And we can give our thoughts on the players and their overall ratings. And I think as we tell a story about each of the players, we probably get a view of how the game went. I mean, we got to start with Vitek, haven't we? Vitek was our best player. 8.6 rating on FOTMob. He was crazy. The flag day was mate. I live relatively close to West Street. I won't say exactly where, or at least where the Three Lions is. And it looked absolutely mental. So let us know if you went to flag day before the game. We can have a bit of chat about that as well. So yeah, Vitek, one of the saves he made to push it onto the post looked genuinely incredible today. I didn't see it because I'm sat in the south stand and the goal was at the other end. So it's quite difficult to see exactly what happened because it was behind a number of players, but it looked like a crazy save, that one. He kept us in the game. I think we would have lost today if we had Max O'Leary in goal, to be completely honest with you. A couple of times he came to claim crosses, and he was good with his feet as well in the first half. He spent a lot of time outside his box playing balls around. I thought he had a really good game, did Vitek. And what a signing he's been, man. Like, I would imagine when Gerhard Struber came in, he would have demanded to the board that he was not too happy with having to play Joe Lumley every week. And the board responded by signing Vitek. I think we can be happy with Vitek. The one thing I would say is his kicking was not amazing today. Against Sheffield United, he was lumping the ball to the edge of their penalty area, and he didn't really do any of those kicks today. Probably because the game didn't set up for it. But yeah, interesting. Atkinson, I thought he was solid. He had a solid game today. He's like a new signing, isn't he? What I really appreciated from him was he made a couple of like marauding forward runs. He was really cool on the ball. Didn't really get beaten up ends all that much. He had a really good game. And alongside Vitek, I would agree, he's probably our best player in that game. Viner, throughout the first half, I thought he was a little bit interesting at times. There was one sort of miscommunication with Vitek during the first half where, yeah, they could have made more of it. And I think that was Viner's fault. He was expecting Vitek to claim the ball but didn't communicate with him. So I think that's on Viner, really. And there were a couple of misplaced passes and misjudgments during the game. Give him a 6.5 for me. We'll talk about ratings in a second. Interesting, it was Tanner that went off on the 72nd minute rather than Viner. So we ended the game with a back three of Atkinson, Dickey and Viner. And I actually thought, based on the performances in that game, I thought Tanner had a really good game. I thought Viner should have been the one subbed for Dickey rather than Tanner, to be honest. I thought Tanner had a better game than Viner. It may have been that they brought on... Who did they bring on? They brought on a big centre forward, didn't they? It was Miles Lieburn, wasn't it? And maybe they brought on Dickey to deal with him a little bit. I thought that Tanner had a good game. I don't think it was the day for you today. I don't think he had one of his best games for us. That kind of showed with the early substitution for Sykes. He's allowed a bad game, isn't he? Randall, I thought he was decent. He gave the ball away a couple of times. He he just didn't look 100% tidy. Knight had a better game, I thought, than Randall. Knight was just Jason Knight. Solid game. Randall, a little bit scrappy at times. And I think didn't really look too much different, I don't think, either with Bird on the pitch, to be completely honest with you. Knight was solid game from Knight. McCrory didn't really get into the game all that much. I think he'd probably be, I don't know if he'll be disappointed in his performance. I think he tried his best today. I just don't think it was a good game for him in general. He was solid enough, but, you know, he had a chance, didn't he? I think, was it during the first half? I've got some notes I took in the game. When did he have his chance? Yeah, he came 31st minute. He got him behind, and it was a really good block from Charlton. I just thought in general Charlton defended really well, to be honest with you. Mehmeti is quite telling actually, because Mehmeti played the full 90 and Twine got subbed off. There were points in the game where Mehmeti got in behind. He had a couple of times where he was in behind, but he just didn't. There was one towards the end of the game where he could have passed it across the box, outside the box to Sykes, but he didn't see the pass, and that really could have led to a goal, that one. Twine, he's solid enough, wasn't he? But just didn't. No one really had that sort of final product, did they, to really break through that Charlton defence and get something today. He didn't really ever look like scoring. And Reece, it was a difficult game for him. I kind of felt sorry for that he was our lone striker. I feel like if we had a second striker against the solidity of their defence, we could have been a little bit better. I think Reece needed some help today, I've got to say. I know Sinks and Fally came on, but I just think it's a really strong argument, for me at least, to have a starting quality striker alongside Emil Reece. I've been banging the drum for that, and I still think if we're serious about getting playoffs, I think our team is capable of doing it, but I just think we need one more striker through the door, I would say. All right, we'll talk about the game a little bit. That was each player. So I didn't think we had our best start, to be honest. In a lot of the games, we start really, really well. In both games that I've seen so far, we start really, really well. But we weren't out the gates as quickly as we were in previous games. We had a couple of chances early on, but nothing too dangerous. In the 12th minute, we had that Viner mistake. A little bit of miscommunication with VTech. I tell you what, after 50 minutes, Reece got in behind, and I thought he could have scored, to be honest with you. I was in the south stand, so it was at the opposite end of the pitch to me. But because the players were blocking him, the Charlton defender that blocked his finish appeared to have come out of absolutely nowhere. I thought Reece would have scored then, but it just didn't happen. And then after that, the game just got a bit flat, to be honest with you. It was flat to start, but really flat for most of that first half. Yeah, Charlton just played really well. They were really solid, difficult to beat. They had a good game, did Charlton. I think they'll be happy with that result. We had McCrory, who had the chance that I mentioned. Good block to stop him. I think two people actually blocked that shot, running in front of it. So yeah, it was a good block. And then towards the end of the first half, we saw Emil Reece take a long throw, and he actually threw the ball literally onto the penalty spot. So he's got a long throw on him. Do you want Emil Reece taking long throws? I don't know. It's just a question I've got. The second half, I thought we started off, did all right, I suppose. Maybe one or two sort of half chances. Charlton were clean through in the 51st minute on one of the channels. I don't know who it was. It might have been Apter that was clean through. VTech made a smart stop there. What do we have here? Then you came off for Sykes. Randall came off for Bird. Didn't really look all that different with those two on. Charlton really started to grow into the game at that point. I also felt that their fans would bang up for it as well. It's first away day for them in the Championship, I guess. Their fans were singing all game and really, really behind their team. And yeah, they could have won the game if it wasn't for VTech. In the 68th minute, he could have... well, before that, actually, I didn't quite see where the chance for Charlton came from because I was sat in the south stand, but the shot almost came out of nowhere. VTech made a mega reaction save to tip it onto the post. He also then made a mistake after that, nearly caught on the ball, but he got away with that one. And then, yeah, just sort of nothing really happened from there. And then towards the end of the game, Reece and Twine came off for Fally and Sinks. The fans really got behind Fally today, I will say. It was nice to see his name being chanted. I think, you know, if he's going to stay at this club, I don't know if that's going to happen. I think it's safe to say the fans are going to do their best to get behind him. And then in the 93rd minute, Mehmeti got sort of, running at their defence. Sykes was free on the right-hand side of the box, and Mehmeti just didn't see him. There was a pass on there where I think there could have been a shot and potentially goal to win the game, but Mehmeti didn't see him. I feel a little bit for Sykes because the two sort of substitution bits he's had to play so far under Struber have just not really... Well, he started against MK Dons, but both games have not really gone his way so far, and I think he'll be absolutely vying for a place in the team, and I don't think he's quite justified it yet to get in ahead of McCrory. Okay, should we do some ratings for each of the players then? I'll have a quick look at the chat. I see we've got some ratings already. Tom Pittman, yeah, no worries about today, mate. We'll see each other another time, I'm sure. Football Addict, I'm hoping to go to the Fulham game, mate, when those tickets come out. I hope Flag Day was good. Alan's gone in with the ratings already. Charlton absolutely should have won that. Had your chances, mate, to be fair. Frustrated. You'll be fine this season. I was talking to, well, he's incredibly negative on X, saying he expects you to go down. If you play like that every game, you are not going down, that's for sure. Yeah, I've had better referees, but you've got to be used to that in the Championship, haven't you? Yeah, agree, Lucy Lou. It was good to see. It was good to see Fally having some support. That's our job as fans to do that, isn't it? And I think we did that today. Player ratings then. VTech, this is just a SofaScore rating. I'm giving VTech an 8 today. He nearly gave the ball away, but I'm giving it an 8, maybe a 9 actually. He really kept us in that game with his saves. His kicking left a little bit to be desired, and he had a mistake. And obviously a little bit of a miscommunication with Viner, but I'd give him a solid 8, 8.5. Atkinson, he's got an 8 on here, but I reckon, yeah, Lucy's saying an 8 for VTech. Atkinson, 7, 7.5, very solid. Probably give him a 7.5. I'm really pleased that we got a keeper in. I was saying all summer, you know, I'd have nothing personal against Max O'Leary, but if we really want to challenge for top 6, we're not doing that with Max O'Leary in goal, but we can with VTech in goal, I think. 7s all round for Atkinson by the looks of it. I don't think Viner had his best game today. We didn't concede, right? So I can't say too much, but he wasn't solid. I'd give Viner probably a 6, 6.5 today, I reckon. Let us know what you thought of Viner. Yeah, he took a few heavy tackles and he had a nasty one at the end of the game. Looked like what could have been quite a serious head injury, but thankfully it wasn't. He got up and walked away from that one. But yeah, I thought Viner was a little bit interesting at times. Tanner, I thought, had another good game. I'm surprised he only got a 6.9 on FOTMob because he was up against Tyrese Campbell, wasn't he? And I thought Tanner did a really good job on him. Tyrese was obviously quite an athlete, quite physically strong. Tanner did a really good job on in this game, I thought. Another really solid performance from George Tanner. And I was if I was subbing one off out of Tanner and Viner, I'll say it again, I'd have subbed off Viner if it was me. So yeah, I think he knows what his favourite back three is, and it's just a case of getting there. And I think that is Atkinson, Vicky, Viner, but I feel a bit sorry for Tanner that he got subbed. Wasn't his best game today. He had his glimpses, but it wasn't his game today. I'm going to give you a 6 as well, maybe 6.5. What do you guys think on you? Anything you want to say on you? No, I got nothing on you. Okay, I'll give him a 6.5. Randall, probably another 6, 6.5. Knight, I thought was a 7, 7.5. Probably 1. You said it all, thank you. Probably 1 point higher than Randall. I thought Randall looked a little bit scrappy with a couple of his touches. And Knight just had a tidier game overall, I felt. The thing is with the midfield under Struber is they're going to be giving the ball away quite a bit because of the way we attack, sprinting forwards as we try to do. There's just less options for our midfielders to pass the ball to. So they are going to be giving the ball away at times. McCrory, he didn't have his best game today, but I don't necessarily think that was his fault. It just wasn't really the game for him. I guess they played well to us having wing-backs. It wasn't a case, the strength of wing-backs, particularly against Sheffield United, is that they're sort of unexpected when they run into the box. But Charlton, I think, dealt with them really well today. Mehmeti and Twine. For me, Twine probably gets a 6, 6.5. Mehmeti maybe a slightly better. He had more of the ball and created a few more chances than Twine did, but again, we didn't score through anything that he did. Thought unfortunately Reece didn't have his best game today, but I don't think Reece himself was poor. I thought Charlton were really good and he didn't necessarily get enough help in the game. Again, I think if he had another centre forward with him that were occupying the two Charlton centre halves, he might have had a better game. But it's just my thoughts. Okay, so we had 5 substitutions come on. 5 substitutes come on. Struber used all 5 of his subs. A couple came on the 57th minute. So who came off? Randall and Yu came off on the 57th for Sykes and Bird. That made McCrory move to the left and Sykes on the right, and Bird came in to replace Randall. Didn't really impact the game at all, I would say, to be honest. The game state, everything didn't feel too much different with the 2 of them on compared to the 2 that were there before. Dickey came on the 72nd minute. I think Struber's just trying to get minutes together of his favoured back 3. I think based on that substitution, we know what that is. But personally, I don't think Tanner should have been the one that was subbed off. I thought Vino had a worse game than Tanner, and he was the one that should have been subbed, to be honest. I don't think Tanner did anything really wrong today, unless, feel free to correct me. But yeah, I think that suggests what Struber's favourite back 3 is. Mayulu looked okay. Sinks looked okay as well. He got a really unlucky foul on him. He backed into one of the Charlton centre halves. I think it was from a goal kick. Just backed into him completely innocently. The Charlton player went down, clutching his face, and they won a free kick. I thought it was quite unlucky there. Yeah. Overall, I was worried going into the game, to be honest. We struggle as Bristol City to beat low block teams, and we struggled again. Well, not necessarily low block, but just dogged, solid teams, and we struggled against Charlton today. It was the first game we've played, I think, against a team that you could say are solid in set up to be tough to beat. So I'm not going to go in on the lads too much. It's Gerhard Struber's 3rd competitive game in charge of us. So there's plenty of time to make changes and improve. I'm not too concerned. I do think the ref was poor, I'd agree. He had a poor game, but it's championship refs, isn't it? And we're still 4th as things stand, aren't we? I think, yeah, still 4th in the table. So everyone but Southampton, Oxford, Hull and Ipswich have played 2 games. I think we're pretty safely in the playoffs as things stand, right? Undefeated. Haven't conceded in our last 2. Conceded 1 goal this season. Too bad, is it? And I think the thing is with Struber, I think to win that game, the only question I would have for you is, how do you win a game like that? Struber used every player he has, I think, at his disposal, apart from one, which we'll get onto, to try and win that game today. And we couldn't do it. So does that mean you change the system? Or do we need different players who can win a game like that? I think for me, when you have a team, this is just my opinion, I'm not a footballing guru, but when you have a team that's set up in the way that Charlton do, you can't beat them by passing the ball around. Even, us playing quick, pressing football doesn't work if they use a low block like they did. I think sometimes you have to have a player who just grabs the game by the nuts, takes a man on, takes a defender out of the equation, and gets us up the pitch. In a game like that, Atkinson did it at times, Viner did it at times, but you'd want to see one of your 3 centre halves take the ball and run and beat that sort of first or second man with a marauding run. That really opens up the game. Stuff like that, I think, is how you beat a low block team. But feel free to let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with that. I've got some tweets to share as well. If you go on to this. So I'm going to probably get some stick for this one. But one of the things I noticed in the game was how quickly the ball boys there was a ball girl in front of the south stand. She did a really good job, actually, I would say. But the ball boys around the pitch, these are young kids, so I'm not going to go in on some young kids. But the speed at which they gave the ball back to our players during that game was really frustrating to watch. All they need is a quick chat before the game. They genuinely have an opportunity to impact games, I think. I've seen before, Tottenham have scored a goal based off of a ball boy giving the ball to their player for a throw-in really quickly. And even if it scores us 1 goal a season or prevents a goal a season, it's worth putting in the effort into they just need a chat before the game to think about it. That's all. I'm not going to go in on ball boys and ball girls, but that was a comment. How long have you been top of the league? That account's gone now, but that was a fun run. Jack, who I think has done his matchday vlog now as well, so check out Jack Buchanan's channel for his matchday vlog. They did do their job really well, and they were a good opponent today. Fair play to them. It's a normal issue, I think, with Bristol City struggling to beat a solid team like that. I think you need to give Struber some time as well, don't you? So So yeah, I just say give him time. Didn't catch his name because I was desperate for the loot, but I was walking down from my seat, and someone said I look better on the telly than I do in real life. So I took that as a compliment, even though it wasn't. One stream in Bristol saying not quite what we were hoping for. Always positive not to lose. Yeah, players had poor games today. Always positive not to lose. And I still think people saying bad subs, but what are the right subs? You know, I think Struber tried, apart from Josh Stokes, and we'll get onto that. I spotted something in a second. Yeah, frustrating 0-0 there. Love for Radek Vitek. Obviously, he was fantastic today. Yeah, the apple roll was shocking today. One of the apples wasn't even pumped up. I hit 1,000 followers on X. If you haven't already, give us a follow on X at Robin Ness BCFC. We hit 1,000 followers, so I just want to say thank you all for the support. Looked like Flag Day was a good bit of fun. Jack having a great time with all the smoke and flares. Yeah, Charlton, just a bit of nod to respect to the Charlton fans, really. They didn't stop all game. They were really good. What you can't see here is I bookmarked this tweet from Stacey because someone with the surname Stokes reposted it. And it looked like it could have been Josh Stokes' dad, who I know follows the channel, so I'm not going to say anything. But I think if your Josh Stokes' family member is retweeting that he thought he should have been on the game, suggests that Josh Stokes is fit. And I wonder why he wasn't in the team. That's something to consider. BCFC Pezza was impressed with Fally off the bench. Yeah, Atkinson is like a new signing, isn't he? And yeah, Free Peeps and Podcast saying Charlton set up to frustrate, and they certainly did. People just giving a bit more praise to Fally as well. All right, we're 22 minutes into this one. If you want to ask me anything else in the chat or mention anything else in the chat, feel free to. But otherwise, we'll end the stream there because I've just done an FPL video as well. It's really hot. I'm hungry. I want to go and have my Saturday evening now, if that's all right. On to Derby on Friday, I suppose, isn't it? I won't be going, but I will certainly be watching the game. I'll do a preview and a review for the game as well, like we always do. So yeah, look forward to that. And I'll guess we'll go into this solo screen a second. Unless you've not got anything else for me. Please leave a like rating on the stream before we head away. And subscribe to the Robin's Nest YouTube channel if you haven't already. We've got 42 people watching, only 6 likes. So it'd be wonderful if you could leave a like rating. And I'll see you in the next one. Have a good week, everyone.